I'm Jody with United Pawnbrokers out of Jonesboro, Arkansas. And today I have the brand new Springfield Armory Hellcat Pro Comp. So this is their newest variation of the Hellcat family, and it is kind of a newcomer to the micro compact compensated game. So this gun is pretty much a direct competitor to the SIG X Macro, and we will be comparing those shortly. But it does, for this gun, have that kind of soft pebble sandpaper style grip that all the Hellcats do. You do have a trigger safety up front, a 2-slot accessory rail for lights and lasers. Your rear sight is a U-notch with your front being a yellow high-vis tritium. It is optic cut here, and it does have a nice little set of serrations on the cover plate, and those serrations match the ones on the rear and the front of the slide. You have a standoff device that doubles as a recoil spring. And of course, up top, you have a single port compensator. Let's move in and we will compare this to the X Macro. Now that we have these guns side by side, here we have the SIG and of course the Hellcat. So for the capacity on these guns, for the flush fit magazine, the Hellcat Pro holds 15+1. And of course, the SIG Macro with a flush fit magazine holds 17+1. For the sights, on the X Macro, we have a blacked out tritium rear sight. So we have 2 dots in the rear with a high-vis green with tritium front sight, compared to the Hellcat, where we have that U-notch on the rear and the yellow high-vis tritium front sight. The grip texture is very similar. Both of them are kind of a sandpaper pebble texture. The SIG is a little bit more aggressive compared to the Hellcat. For safety mechanisms, the SIG does not have a outside safety on it compared to the Hellcat, which this version does not have a thumb safety, but it does have a trigger safety. For modularity, the Hellcat is pretty much stuck how it is compared to the X Macro, where this is a modular frame and you also have back straps that are interchangeable. For the accessory rail, the Hellcat has a 2-notch compared to the X Macro that has a 3-notch rail. And on the X Macro, this is a traditional Picatinny rail. For barrel length, the Hellcat has a 3.7-inch barrel, because in comparison, the barrel does go all the way to the end compared to the X Macro, where it only insets to the edge of the compensator. Overall length on these guns is identical at 6.6 inches. So if you set them side by side, they are right at the same length. For the height, the Macro is a little bit taller with the magazine inserted. It is 5.2 inches tall compared to the 5-inch tall Hellcat. Whenever you put in the 17 round mag, it does extend this up to 5.5 inches tall. Both of these guns are just about 1 inch in width. And for the compensator itself, on the SIG you have a 2-port that is only the slide, and on the Hellcat you have 1 large port, and that goes through the barrel and through the slide. For loaded chamber indicators, both of these guns have holes here that you can inspect visually to see if the chamber is loaded. And forward texture, on the X Macro, you don't have anything forward of the grip, but on the Hellcat, you do have a little bit more texture here, and you also have some nice indents that work as a gas pedal. So a couple of things that I would consider when looking at these guns. For the X Macro, it definitely has a little bit more of a beaver tail that would keep you from getting any kind of slide bite. But one really neat thing about the Hellcat, with the barrel being compensated itself, this gun can still have that barrel removed and add a threaded barrel so you can run a can. Inside the box, we'll start off with the SIG. With the SIG, we have a nice hard plastic lockable case with 2 latches on it. Inside, you get a second mag and a thumb saver. Get a little band that goes around the grip of the gun. Primarily an advertisement thing, but if you have a safe full of guns, it makes it a little bit easier to find. Of course, your paperwork, an orange safety flag, and 2 back straps. For the Hellcat, first off, we have a cardboard box. Inside, we have the extended 17 round magazine, a soft case, paperwork and test target, a smaller safety flag, And of course, your cable lock. One last thing I will touch on is just the size difference whenever you add the 17 round mag to the Hellcat. So like I said before, it does give about an extra 1/2 inch onto the bottom of the grip, and it does come with a nice grip extension. But that is them side by side. Come and check it out.